The music is swelling and building to accentuate my very first reveal. I position myself in preparation. I take a breath and I say, I am successful in everything that I do. I take the leap and it works out better than I imagined. The venue is jam-packed with the audience and the fire service is there just in case. The energy behind the music reaches its first peak and the fireworks start to sparkle in a pillar of light that frames my costume. Shit. I'm wearing 525 grams of instantly ignitable material. At that precise moment, my body is buzzing. It's so very alive. Every cell in my body is buzzing with excitement. I feel confident. I feel sexy. I feel invincible and magnetic. As I exit, having nailed the routine, the reveals and the turns, there's a random thought that streaks naked across my mind. Can I teach others how to do this if I feel this way? I'm Mischief, an international award-winning burlesque performer, teacher, and a brain injury thriver. I invite women to a space where they give themselves permission to connect with their inner sexiness. The person I am today, standing here today, has grown out of those ashes of trauma and through giving myself that permission. So 11 years ago, the life that I thought I wanted, because it was modelled by the women around me, was crumbling. I was suicidal. I was about to be fired from my job. And I hadn't yet found out that my husband was cheating on me. I was barely functioning. I had 5 near-fatal asthma attacks and I was making poor quality decisions from all of the stress that I was under. My brain chemistry had changed. I was trying to be the perfect wife, the perfect sister, the perfect friend, the perfect employee, the perfect. And all of this people-pleasing was putting me last. My cup just wasn't empty. It had a bloody great big hole in it. I'd seen a documentary about the historic art of burlesque, and I was intrigued. The woman looked so glamorous and confident in there, and I wanted that. I wasn't quite keen on the stripping part yet, but that would come later. I wanted to feel captivated, not like the haggard woman I was seeing in front of the mirror. So I enrolled in a class. And then I couldn't go. There was always something more important going on. Life decided that I required an intervention, and I came home to find my husband in bed with another woman. At the time, the pieces that I was so desperately trying to hold together so that my world didn't shatter, came splintering down. Rhinestones require the darkness to sparkle. So I left the husband and I started to assemble the pieces of my life again. As a distraction, I went nervously and timidly along to a burlesque class. I was greeted by a beautiful, curvaceous woman who was the teacher. She'd show us the moves during the course, and I'd never been to a burlesque show before. So this is my first experience of the timed removal of costume items to a specific piece of music. I was mesmerised. Before I knew it, my teacher was down to pasties, knickers, and a garter belt. The sense of confidence that my teacher radiated and how much she loved her body was absolutely intoxicating. I wanted this so much. So I learnt the moves and completed the course and went along to the next class. My kitchen turned into a rehearsal space as I put the combination of moves together. Dance was making me fitter. It was changing the shape of my body. I was wearing makeup again. I was choosing specific outfits to wear as well, instead of just throwing on track pants. Suddenly, not having matching underwear freaked me out. It still does. My self-talk morphed from something cruel and horrible that I would never say to anyone else to more nurturing things that cared for me. I was doing this for me. For the first time, I was putting me first. I was taking care of myself. The more I immersed myself in the glittery world of burlesque, the more I learnt. I discovered the power of self-talk. Conversations about self-agency, boundaries, and self-worth were going on around me. Burlesque was the physical element to my healing. I discovered I wasn't the only one who had suicidal thoughts, depression, and anxiety. Others shared how they navigated this. Witnessing those conversations while I was working with my clinical team taught me self-compassion and not to listen to everything that I think about. This was a series of upgrades for me that was triggered by my very first tour to America and the hours of classes that I would take. I started to throw around ideas about how I could harness this and teach it while I was being authentically me. I took the plunge and started teaching classes. Those first few classes were super awkward for me. I felt like a baby giraffe in high heels. I was teaching the way I had been taught, and this wasn't a resonance for me. As my confidence grew in teaching the material, I wove in the techniques that had brought a beautiful calming energy to my body. The visualizations, the meditations, the breath work, until I had this seamless mishmash of striptease and techniques that turned on healing mode. This healing mode had the added effect of reducing the post-show lows that I was experiencing. We call this glitter crash in the burlesque industry, and it's where the neurotransmitters and the hormones are changing post-show. It's similar to the post-wedding blues. There were two specific burlesque moves that I fell in love with. They brought this energized calmness to my body. And when I looked into this more, they actually changed the physiology in your body. The silk stocking mimics the anti-anxiety pose of yoga's standing forward bend. It soothes the nervous system and energizes the body. The second movement, the shimmy, pumps lymph around the body. Now, this is incredibly important because it's the vacuum cleaner of the body and helps remove waste. So I'd like to share this with you now. Is that okay with you? So if you're able, please stand. If you're not, I have alternatives. So we're going to start today learning about the shimmy, and that involves it's a beautiful, easy move. If you have ankle, hip or knee problems, then just work within your body's tolerance. And basically what we do is we just start moving forward. So it's just a weight transfer onto the balls of your feet and then backwards. It's just a very nice, gentle movement to start with. Just that nice, gentle movement. Forwards and backwards, forwards and backwards. And then we start to move, speed it up. And there's a little pop at the end as well. So just while I'll leave the standing part of the audience to keep doing that while I demonstrate the seated version. So the seated version has two types. One's for the lower body and the other is for the upper body. So the lower body uses all of the muscles up and down the backs of your legs and into your butt and your lower back. Basically what you're doing is clenching your butt. So you go clench, clench, clench. What you're looking for is that little jiggle. So it's quite an intensive move when you're sitting down, but I'm sure you'll be able to manage it. If the lower version of the body isn't a contribution, then let's try an upper version, where you bring your arms up to 90 degrees, so your elbows are at 90 degrees, your wrists are together like this. And if you're of a certain age, you'll understand this. You pull the cord on the bus. Pull the cord on the bus. Now, what you're looking for is you're looking for that bounce in my voice, if you can hear that. Now, what that's doing is actually moving your diaphragm up and down. So whichever move you'd like to try, let's combine all of those moves now together into this one move. So we're, and I'll demonstrate just on the side here. So we're basically just jiggling away. Now jiggling is my superpower, and I actually quite enjoy doing it. So the more you jiggle, the more the shimmy happens. So we're going to do a lower body shimmy. So I'll just turn on the side and basically bounce up and down. You're popping your butt out and bouncing up and down. And you can do an upper body shimmy as well. So, and that just is exactly what I was doing before, bouncing up and down. So, if you ever need to feel energised or anything like that before a meeting, then you can always use a shimmy. You can do this in the bathroom. You can do this anywhere private or anywhere in meeting rooms. So I'm curious, after that demonstration, what differences are you feeling? What differences can you hear? What's different in your experience now? Has your heart rate increased? Can you imagine how powerful these techniques are when your world is crumbling? I've developed a framework that uses burlesque dance and tools. The dance studio at Sparkle Force Academy of Burlesque is set up as a low sensory environment, meaning that the light and the sound levels can be altered. And then there are essential oils that help condition the nervous system. As students progress through the different levels of classes, the environment changes, so their body and brains are conditioned to what they will experience on a full stage, so with the full lights and the sound system. This means that the student's body doesn't default to the freeze, flight or fight when it detects a threat. When I learnt to turn on my healing mode through these practices, my world did a 180-degree pivot overnight. There were so many changes. I moved from a 5-figure pay packet to 6 figures. The asthma that nearly killed me was now controlled. I was a reformed asthmatic. The most shocking to me, though, was that there were parts of my body that I started to like. What the fuck was happening to me? I was seeing similar results when I caught up with my students, and they got their sexy back and more. They had the confidence to take that leap into the unknown, and the first time a student said to me that they had a $10,000 pay rise, I fell off my chair. The 5th time, well, I smiled and nodded. Damn, I celebrated with them. Yes. The students not only have pay rises that are monumental for them, they find the relationship of their dreams after being single for 15 years. They no longer wear men's boxer shorts because they feel sexy in their bodies. And they apply for the jobs that they thought that they were too dumb to apply for. I was feeling that feel better about myself story that I'd experienced play out for others. I'm not the only one teaching this way. There are 7 of us that I know internationally that have backgrounds in complementary therapies that teach burlesque. But this is not the norm. We're on this leading edge of this fusion of burlesque and healing. So when I think back to myself of 11 years ago, dancing in my kitchen, I'd started striptease to feel better about myself. I wasn't stripping for anyone else apart from me. If you'd told me that I'd be touring to America and teaching and performing, then I would have told you to go to Specsavers. So I'm stunned by who I am today. The change in my confidence is like night and day. So to me, of 11 years ago, take the leap It works out far better than you imagined. I give you permission to be the biggest personality you can be. Be the most glamorous and have the agency in your life. Use the tools and exercise the confidence and the stress muscle that you've developed. The question becomes, what do you desire to achieve? The message that I aspire to leave you with today is, if you are waiting for permission to be unapologetically you, then let's do it right here, right now. I invite you to repeat this brain twister with me. I give myself permission to be who I truly be. The sentence structure within this allows you to think about yourself with no judgments. So let's do this. I give myself permission to be who I truly be. I give myself permission to be who I truly be. One last time. I give myself permission to be who I truly be.